Hey everybody, DIY Dad here, back again for another exciting project with a different truck than I've had featured in any of these videos because I upgraded. So my Ram 1500 is now a Chevy Duramax 2500 HD. So I've got some things I want to do with this, and the very first one is going to be trying to swap out the headlights for LED bulbs. I watched a video online showing how you have to take apart the grille and pull the fixtures out and take apart half the bumper, take apart the wheel wells and do all of that. I'm hoping we can skip all of that mess. We'll see if that's true. So here we go. So the first step obviously is going to be popping the hood. And as you can see, everything on this truck is very, very big. So we may at some point even need a step ladder to get up so we can get down once we're inside. Popping the hood on this truck's a little bit tricky. It still has the same release on the inside, just like always, but then it's got this little bug deflector here, which makes it a little hard to get in there. So right about in the center, there's a little lever, if I can find it, that you're going to push off to the side. You have to do it kind of blind because there's no visibility into anything in there. There it is. It's going to push towards the driver's side on the truck. If you can get the angle right, it should release the hood. Ugh. Which is really heavy. All right, and then inside here, to get to the top of the headlights, and hopefully not to have to take them off, we're going to have to pull this guy off all the way across. And as you'll see, it has this piece of weather stripping on the passenger side that overhangs this, but interestingly doesn't on the driver's side, which is a weird little design cue, but okay. So we'll have to pull this piece off first, and then we will get to all of these little clips across the top here to pull this panel off. So I'm new to this truck. I don't know if this is how it normally is, but mine was actually kind of glued down with double-sided tape on either side here, so that had to be peeled up a little bit. But looking at how this is intended to be connected, it looks as though there's this one tab right here, and then there's a clip on this side. So to get it out, you'll have to lift it up from the back and kind of feed it up, and then when you get to the end here, kind of lift it out of this slot and slide it towards the front of the truck to release this tab right here, and then this piece can be removed. The reason we have to remove that is to get access to this clip, which is otherwise hidden underneath this cover. You may be able to kind of massage this out of the way and get to it, but I couldn't see a way to do that easily. So looks like when it goes back in, we'll just have to kind of feed it. This little clip goes underneath the edge here. That clip goes in against this edge. And then there's a hole here that this factors into. So we'll just have to kind of line it up and massage it a bit, and then that'll sit and kind of rest in this channel. So with that out of the way, we can take this panel off. Now there are 12 clips to do this. So there's this one in the corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trust me, there's 12 all the way across. So grab a little bowl or something you can pop these things into so they don't get lost. Okay, once you have all 12 of those released, to remove this piece, it's actually kind of under this little lip here. So you have to kind of lift it from the back and then sort of work it out, and you should be able to lift it straight out. Well, unfortunately, this looks like one of the situations where the rumors were true. So down here behind this little support member, you can get access to the 2 lights for the driver's side headlight. Unfortunately, on the passenger side, the airbox is in the way. So you can see the headlight here, the bulb's actually right there, but there's no way to get my hand in there in any meaningful way. You can take this out, there's a bunch of stuff hooked to it, so it's probably gonna be easier to take the passenger light out to get access to that, which does mean pulling the inside wheel well here to get access to one of the bolts in the back. It also means probably pulling the grill, because all of that looks a bit easier than trying to remove this airbox and pull off the little shield that's in here. I don't know, I might experiment both ways on that and see which way is actually simpler. If the airbag's gonna be a little bit easier, or the airbox rather is a little easier, we might go that way. It looks like just some little sensors and stuff that I'd have to unplug. But there's a couple hoses running across the top of it too. So it's just gonna be a big pain in the butt either way we go. Great. Yep, I tried it and it still doesn't work. Even with the airbag removed, I keep saying airbag, air box removed, there's just no room to get your hand in here. I might be able to get the top one out, but I want to be able to get the high beam out too, and that's just not going to happen. This thing is, well, stuck on there. It's got to be bolted from below, and it's glued to the side. I'm not going to take the bottom part of the airbox off, which means we have to do this the hard way, and that means pulling the inside fender lining and actually taking this light fixture out. So I guess we're going to do that. All right, sorry about the garage heater, but it's getting kind of chilly, so this will be a little bit of background noise, but let's get into this. Fortunately, we're gonna have to do it the hard way. I checked to see if we could open up the wheel well and if that would give us access to back light. It doesn't. So for the passenger light, as far as I can tell, you gotta take that light out, which means removing some stuff, like the center grille. So for this grille, we've already removed the cover plate. There are four 10mm bolts. So one here, one over here, one here, and one here. So you're gonna pull those and that'll loosen the top. But then inside, there's a series of pressure clips. So looking down into the cavity here behind the grill, there's pressure clip here and another one down below it. Same thing over on this side. There's gonna be one on this post and then one down below. So what you're gonna do is you can kind of grab here and pop these loose. But then for the ones down in the bottom, to get those loose, you're gonna wanna reach your hand down like this and kind of grab onto the bottom of the grill and pull out. That's gonna allow those to come loose, and then the entire grill will come free like this, and you can kind of work it out inside of the side. So now the grill is removed, and the whole reason that we're doing that is to get access to this bolt right down here. So holding the light in, there are four, I believe, bolts. There's one here, one on the top here, one on the top here, and then there's going to be one in the back corner here. To get to that, we're gonna have to take out the wheel well skirt. So this inner cover is gonna have to come out. That's just gonna be a series of these little clips all the way around, and that'll open that up, and we should be able to get access to that back bolt. At that point, it's just pulling these off, and then the whole fixture should be able to pull free. There is a wire connection on the back, so once it's kind of free, we'll be able to get to that and unplug it, and then this whole housing will come out, and we'll swap the bulbs at that point. So just as a tip for you while you have this open, is I would kind of inspect around in here, since you've got it all taken apart anyway. Take a look at your various different fins, coolers and stuff, and you may even find that you've got a dead bird wedged in there that it might make sense to pull out before that starts to burn and smell. So yeah, good times. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is annoying. So to get this lining removed, you don't have to take it out completely, you do have to loosen it. So there's a bunch of screws along the front end of the truck here that you're gonna pull out. They're just little torque screws. There are two also kind of down here that go up just to make this thing move free. You can, if you want, just pull the side ones and kind of fold it back, but to get a little bit more access, pull the two that go up as well. And then I pulled to about halfway across the fender as well. The whole reason you're doing that is to get access to one stupid little 10mm bolt that is hard to see. So I'm gonna show you where it is. It's really frustrating to find. So in here behind the wheel well, and if I can quite get the camera on it, but there's this white piece of metal here and this black part that hangs down. And on the side of that, pointed straight in, I'll try to throw an arrow on it, is the bolt you're going for. So it's 10mm, you're just gonna have to kind of reach up there blind and get that released. While you're in here too, if you're doing your fog lights, that's where you get access to the fog light bulb right there. So with that problematic little bolt removed, you can take the headlight housing out. To do that though, there's a little tab right here. So you're gonna wanna lift this kind of up to get it free of there, and then the headlight bulb can just be worked out. Again, remember there's a wiring plug. It's a single plug that you can undo, and then all of the rest of the wiring is inside this light. So once you get this kind of worked free, just pull that one big plug out and you should be able to bring the entire fixture out. So this massive sucker is out now. To get access to the bulbs then, there's just these covers that pop off. And you can see the bulbs behind. So normal low beam, and then your high beam, and you'll have access to the wires internally. It's actually kind of a nice design once you get it off. These lights are for the marker lights. We don't have to do anything with that. So I'm going to replace these bulbs, pop this back together, and then that will go in the truck. This is the exact same design for the driver's side, but from the driver's side, you can reach down kind of inside without taking this whole thing out and just pop those covers off, and you'll get access to the bulbs that way. So you save a little bit of time on that side. Fortunately, the passenger side, because of the airbox, you have to take all this apart. This is where the one plug coming out of the truck goes back in, just to show that. That's going to be this wire right here. So once you pull this whole fixture out, it's just a pressure tab on here, just push down and this will pop out real easy, and then that comes free. And again, I'd kind of look around for dead animals and sort of things stuffed in here. I had a bunch of dead dragonflies and things like that to take care of. I'll show this too in case it's not super obvious. On the low beam light, this plug comes off the bulb just by pushing down here. So just push and then that'll come free. The high beam is the opposite, so this is a tab that needs to be lifted. So you're going to lift that up and push it free, and it'll come off that way. And then you can pull the bulbs out. All right, my new bulbs are in place, and I've run into this before, so I'm using just a kind of cheaper LED bulb for this project. I may go more expensive at some point, but the entire kit was like 30 bucks. And I've used this brand before and had good luck with it, so decided to go with it. The one thing I've noticed though in the past, and it is important that you get these plugged in correctly, is this generic plug is not keyed, meaning you can plug it in really either way into this harness, but if you plug it in backwards, it doesn't always work real well for you. So if you look real close on this plug, there's a plus and minus defined for the sides on the plug, and that's going to line up to your wire colors. Your minus is going to be your negative, your colored wire is going to be your positive. So as long as you get those lined up, you should be good to go. But you can plug this in either way. My experience has been if you plug it in backwards, it just doesn't work. All right, with the bulbs installed and the covers reattached, we can go ahead and install all this back in the truck. It's going to be the opposite of how we took it apart. So these will go in, the wheel flare gets all reattached, the grill gets reinstalled, the cover piece gets put back on. In my case, the airbox gets put back together after I've cleaned out some of that junk, and the grill will get cleaned out or put back on after I scoop the bird out of there. Well, that's all there is to it. Not a whole lot to the project. It's not super easy though. On that particular truck, on a 2500 HD 2015, unfortunately, yes, you do have to pull apart part of the wheel well, take off the grill, take out the light to switch the bulbs on the passenger side. Totally worth it though. These are much better than stock. All you really need to accomplish this is a set of star drive, like torque screwdrivers, and a 10mm socket, and a little bit of time and willingness to get your hands dirty as you pull apart things in the wheel well. And since it's the end of a DIY dad video, I owe you a dad joke. I don't really have one, but I will say that this project was a bright idea.